Welcome to HFY Sci-Fi channel. Don't forget to subscribe and explore. Bioluminescent corridors pulse with sickly rhythm, each flash weaker than before. Kalen Drift Medical Station hangs in void like a dying star, its walls breathing with mechanical desperation. Through transparent aluminum viewports, distant nebulae paint emergency lighting in shades of rust and amber. A small form lies motionless on Biobed 7. Crystalline bone ridges catch fading light as translucent skin flickers between pale blue and gray. Mercury silver blood moves sluggishly through visible veins, each heartbeat a struggle against entropy itself. Medical equipment whispers its grim countdown. 57 minutes. Dr. Naya Corvin presses palm against quarantine viewport, breath fogging sterile glass. Violet eyes behind energy barrier cloud with pain that needs no translation across species lines. 7 years old by any measure that matters. 7 years of curiosity and wonder, now fading pixel by pixel on monitoring screens. 57 minutes, Healer Kethka whispers. For avian eyes never leave chronometer displays. Crest feathers have dulled to ash, grief made visible in ways human observers recognize without understanding. More high plague has reached neural cortex. Even our most advanced cellular regenerators cannot. Cannot or will not? Voice cuts sterile air like plasma blade. Commander Isara Voss fills doorway, weathered features bearing scars from dozen campaigns across hostile systems. Behind weathered frame, two figures flank entrance. Lieutenant Kai Nakamura, cybernetic arm sparking from recent combat, and Dr. Felicity Huang clutching sealed medical case that hums with forbidden frequencies. Assembled representatives of Galactic Cooperative Council shift uncomfortably. Silicon plates grind against each other as Ambassador Drex speaks first, crystalline voice resonating like grinding stone. Commander Voss, your presence here violates 17 separate quarantine protocols. More high pathogen has already consumed 3 entire star systems. We cannot risk. Risk what? Forward step sends several delegates backward. Risk saving a 7-year-old girl? Council Prime Zephys hisses, serpentine scales shifting from diplomatic blue to warning crimson. Her people chose isolation over integration centuries ago. Refused our medical advances, our protection, our guidance. Now their homeworld burns with plague, and everyone expects us to. To what? Let their children die as punishment. Dr. Huang's voice carries weight of exhaustion and fury combined. 6 months developing treatments council deemed too dangerous or culturally inappropriate. 6 months watching bureaucracy strangle hope. Small movement behind energy barrier draws every eye. Massive violet orbs focus briefly on humans before clouding again with pain that transcends language barriers. Found drifting in escape pod 3 days ago, sole survivor of Jamari refugee convoy that had been redirected away from Council space. Official reports called it navigational error. Humans know better. Before you witness what happens next, what these so-called monsters are about to risk for one dying child, ask yourself this. Have you ever faced a moment where doing right meant breaking every rule? Where compassion demanded rebellion? Drop your thoughts below, because what unfolds here will challenge everything you think you know about being good guys in galaxy that punishes mercy. Medical alarms crescendo. 54 minutes remain. Choice approaches like asteroid impact. Inevitable, devastating, transformative. 50 years of blood and plasma earned humanity its place in galactic hierarchy. Not as equals, never as equals, but as something far more useful and infinitely more feared. Attack dogs with starships and nuclear fire, crushing rebellions across systems that wanted nothing more than to govern themselves in peace. Scar tissue maps campaigns across Voss's weathered features. Kepler 186F insurgency left jagged line from temple to jaw. Proxima Centauri occupation carved furrow through left eyebrow. Ross 128 pacification branded constellation of burns across neck and shoulders. Each mark tells story of worlds brought to heel, populations pacified, governments stabilized under council authority. Too useful to discard. Too dangerous to trust completely. Galaxy learned to fear human unpredictability, emotional responses that defied logic, tactical improvisation that broke established doctrine, stubborn refusal to accept defeat even when mathematics demanded surrender. Council representatives still flinch when humans enter rooms, muscle memory of species that turned warfare into art form. Dr. Velik's amphibious features rigid with scientific certainty, protests from behind energy barrier. Terran's solution will kill her faster than plague itself. Jamari physiology cannot process human medical nanite. Cellular rejection alone will be managed. Dr. Huang sets case on nearest medical station, latches opening with soft hiss. We've run simulations. Modified nanites, biomimetic to crystalline cellular structure. But treatment must begin within 30 minutes, or nervous system deteriorates beyond repair. 6 months of secret research. 6 months developing treatments while council committees debated jurisdiction, protocol, cultural sensitivity guidelines. Watching species die while bureaucrats argued appropriate forms of intervention. Forbidden technology humming in sealed case represents everything council fears about human innovation. Effective, dangerous, developed without permission. Lieutenant Nakamura's cybernetic arm sparks intermittently, reminder of recent combat in Outer Rim territories. Synthetic muscle fibers contract and release without conscious command, neural pathways still integrating with biological systems. Combat modifications deemed necessary after Vega Prime assault left organic limb scattered across hostile landscape. Humans adapt. Humans endure. Humans find ways to keep fighting when rational species would surrender. Through transparent aluminum walls, distant blue-green marble of Kepler 442b rotates slowly. Terraformed world that required 2 centuries of human engineering, atmospheric modification, ecosystem transplantation. Declared strategically insignificant during Outer Rim wars, abandoned to hostile forces despite civilian populations begging for protection. Council priorities rarely aligned with human values. Jamari were spacefaring when your species discovered fire. Prime Zephys continues, scales maintaining warning coloration. Crystalline cities housing billions of souls who valued art, philosophy, quiet contemplation of cosmic beauty. Never conquered worlds. Never enslaved populations. Never built weapons of mass destruction. Peaceful to a fault. Artists and philosophers who chose isolation over integration, preferring meditation to military alliance. Cultural achievements that spanned millennia, crystal symphonies that could reduce listeners to tears, architectural marvels that grew from living rock, poetry written in light patterns visible from orbital distance. Their only crime was independence, Healer Kethka adds softly. Wanting to remain apart from galaxy that demanded conformity. For that choice they faced consequences. Trade routes realigned to bypass Jamari space. Diplomatic overtures, deferred indefinitely. Medical assistance, unavailable due to jurisdictional complications. When more high plague emerged from forgotten corners of deep space, bioweapon legacy from some ancient conflict, Jamari found themselves alone. 17 million infected. Cries for help lost in bureaucratic delays and territorial dispute. She is Jamari, Council Prime repeats, as if species designation explains everything. They chose isolation. So we let children pay for their parents' politics? Voss steps closer to observation window, delegates instinctively creating distance. Let innocence die because adults made unpopular choices? Behind energy barrier, small figure stirs. Crystalline features flicker between life and death while monitoring equipment counts down remaining time. 51 minutes. Bio readings fluctuate wildly, cellular systems fighting losing battle against engineered pathogen designed to consume from within. Found alone in escape pod debris field, sole survivor of convoy that accidentally wandered into restricted space. Navigation computers mysteriously malfunctioned. Communication arrays inexplicably failed. Emergency beacons somehow never activated. 17 separate coincidences that resulted in single refugee child drifting toward Council Medical Station. Galaxy's monsters understand patterns like this. Recognize bureaucratic murder dressed as administrative oversight. No difference between accident and elimination disguised as policy. Reputation built on violence serves different purpose now. Fear earned through conquest becomes leverage for mercy. Political calculations must account for human emotional responses, unpredictable, dangerous, occasionally magnificent in their defiance of rational self-interest. Council delegates understand implications. Humans don't negotiate when children suffer. Don't compromise when innocence faces extinction. Don't calculate acceptable losses when individual lives hang in balance. Mathematical certainty meets emotional absolute. Logic encounters love. Galaxy holds its breath. Silence stretches across observation deck like gravity well, pulling every word toward inevitable collision. Through quarantine barrier, small chest rises and falls with mechanical regularity, life support compensating for failing organs, buying time nobody knows how to spend. Dr. Huang opens medical case with deliberate precision. Modified nanites rest in crystalline suspension, each microscopic machine glowing with soft blue radiance. Biomimetic technology that required months of illegal research, cellular engineering that violates dozen different treaties. Salvation wrapped in rebellion. Mendari Accords explicitly forbid cross-species medical intervention without council authorization. Ambassador Drek states, silicon plates grinding with agitation. Article 7, Section 12. Damn your articles! Exhaustion cracks Dr. Huang's voice like asteroid impact. While you debate jurisdiction, children die. While you file forms, families mourn. While you protect protocols, entire civilizations disappear. 47 minutes remain. Bioreadings cascade downward on monitoring displays. Neural activity fluctuating wildly as plague advances through crystalline bone structure. Cellular death spreading like wildfire through systems never designed to combat engineered pathogens. Mathematics of mortality calculating inexorable conclusion. Jamari physiology operates on quantum resonance frequencies. Dr. Velix insists, amphibious features rigid with scientific certainty. Human nanites will trigger cellular cascade failure. Death within minutes instead of hours. Based on theoretical models from species you've studied for exactly 3 days, Dr. Huang counters, hands steady despite fury burning behind tired eyes. I've spent 6 months analyzing Jamari cellular samples. 6 months developing nanites specifically calibrated to crystalline metabolism. Your concerns are noted and dismissed. Political calculation versus medical necessity. Abstract policy confronting concrete suffering. Behind energy barrier, violet eyes flutter open. Massive orbs focus with effort that seems monumental, gaze finding human faces pressed against transparent aluminum. For a single heartbeat, connection transcends species barriers. Recognition passes between dying child and potential saviors. Universal language of hope meeting desperation. Look at her, Voss whispers, voice carrying weight of dozen campaigns. Look at those eyes and tell me protocols matter more than breathing. Small hand rises with glacial slowness, palm pressing against barrier from inside. Crystalline skin catches emergency lighting, refracting colors into rainbow patterns that dance across medical equipment. Touch separated by inches and infinity. Energy field maintaining isolation that politics demand. Quarantine breach risks entire sector. Council Prime Zephys continues, scales maintaining warning coloration. More high pathogen spreads through atmospheric contact. Single mistake could. Could what? Kill more people than your negligence already has. Lieutenant Nakamura speaks for first time, cybernetic arm sparking with neural feedback. 17 star systems burned while you debated response protocols. How many children died waiting for authorization? Outer Rim wars cast long shadows over current crisis. Human colonies abandoned to hostile forces, civilian populations sacrificed for strategic considerations. Worlds that trusted council protection found themselves isolated when politics shifted, left defenseless against enemies that showed no mercy to innocents. Kepler 442b still bears scars from that abandonment. Atmospheric processors destroyed, cities burned, populations scattered to stellar winds. 2 centuries of terraforming erased in months because Council deemed world strategically insignificant. Humans remember abandonment, remember promises broken, remember cost of trusting galaxy's collective conscience. Treatment window closes in 28 minutes, Dr. Huang announces, fingers dancing across medical scanner displays. Neural degradation accelerates exponentially. Past that threshold, even successful pathogen elimination won't restore cognitive function. Mathematical certainty approaching like stellar collapse. Time itself becoming enemy, each passing second narrowing possibility for miracle. Violation of Mendari Accords means immediate expulsion from Council space, Prime Zephys warns. Earth loses trading privileges, colonial rights, diplomatic immunity. Economic isolation until compliance restored. And if we comply? Voss asks quietly. If we follow protocols and watch her die? Nobody answers. Answer obvious to everyone present. Small form behind barrier convulses once, twice, then goes still. Medical alarms crescendo as bioreadings spike toward critical thresholds. Cellular systems fighting war they cannot win against pathogen designed to consume everything crystalline physiology represent. This moment strips away pretense, reveals truth burning at galaxy's core. Some choices transcend politics. Some decisions matter more than consequences. Some lives demand salvation regardless of cost. If you're watching this without feeling fire in your chest, maybe it's time to ask hard questions. What makes us human isn't our technology or our weapons. It's moments like this, when everything we are gets tested against everything we could become. Subscribe if you still believe that line matters. If not, tell us why below. What's stopping you from caring about dying children? 26 minutes remain. Choice crystallizes like dying star going nova. Lieutenant Nakamura, seal the medbay. Words fall like hammer blows against diplomatic protocol. Emergency locks engage with metallic finality as Nakamura's cybernetic arm interfaces directly with station security systems. Council delegates surge forward, silicon plates grinding against crystalline carapaces, amphibious features contorting with bureaucratic outrage. Commander Voss, you are in direct violation of Geneva Prime Override, Authorization Voss 77 Alpha. Voice cuts through protests like plasma through hull plating. Earth Fleet Command, this is Kalen Drift Station. We are proceeding with emergency medical intervention under Terran Independent Action Protocol. Silence crashes across observation deck. Geneva Prime Override, words that haven't been spoken in 50 years. Last used during Kepler 442b evacuation when Council strategic considerations left human colonies defenseless. Authorization that severs Earth from galactic political structure, declares independence from Council authority. Political earthquake measured on interstellar scale. Communication arrays crackle with frantic transmissions. 17 separate channels carrying news across light years in real time. Ambassador stations throughout galaxy receiving identical message. Earth has chosen compassion over compliance. Monsters have remembered how to be human. Dr. Huang approaches quarantine barrier, medical case humming with forbidden technology. Initiating nanite deployment. Stand clear of energy field intersection. Crystalline suspension flows through injection port like liquid starlight, each microscopic machine carrying 6 months of illegal research, biomimetic engineering designed to save rather than destroy. Blue radiance spreads through atmospheric processors, nanites adapting to Jamari cellular frequencies with precision that defies council predictions. Cellular cascade failure imminent, Dr. Velix warns, amphibious features rigid with scientific certainty. Human technology will trigger. Bioreadings spike upward instead of crashing downward. Cellular regeneration accelerating beyond theoretical parameters. Mercury-silver blood flowing with renewed vigor through crystalline vessels. Neural activity stabilizing as engineered pathogens encounter nanites specifically calibrated to Jamari metabolism. Impossible, Prime Zephys hisses, serpentine scales shifting from warning crimson to shocked silver. Theoretical models indicated. Your theoretical models were wrong. Dr. Huang watches displays with professional satisfaction, masking deeper exhaustion. 6 months of actual research beats 3 days of bureaucratic speculation. Behind barrier, small form stirs with movement that carries weight of miracles. Translucent skin flickers from gray toward pale blue, crystalline ridges catching emergency lighting with renewed luminescence. Violet eyes open with clarity absent for days, massive orbs focusing on human faces pressed against transparent aluminum. Color returns like sunrise across alien features. Hope made visible in physiological transformation. Hope is dangerous, Council Prime whispers, voice carrying unintended truth. It makes people question established order. Makes them believe change is possible. Makes them act without authorization. Exactly what galaxy needs. Small hand rises toward barrier with strength that shouldn't exist. Palm presses against energy field from inside, matching human gesture from outside. Connection transcends species boundaries. Politics, protocol, touch separated by inches of technology but united by something far more powerful. Recognition passes between dying child and her saviors. Universal language of gratitude requiring no translation. We're done being the galaxy's convenient monsters, Voss announces, scarred features carrying weight of 50 years' service. Done crushing rebellions, enforcing compliance, maintaining order at expense of conscience. Earth fleet stands ready to defend any world, protect any species, save any child, with or without council authorization. Political paradigm shifts in single declaration. Attack dogs become protectors. Enforcers become guardians. Monsters discover they were always heroes waiting for permission to act. Communication streams multiply exponentially. 17 becomes 70. 70 becomes 700. News spreads through galaxy like wildfire through dry stellar matter. Humanity has chosen defiance, chosen compassion, chosen hope over hierarchy. Nanite residue glows softly on Dr. Huang's palms, biomimetic technology proving council fears unfounded. Treatment proceeds with mathematical precision, cellular repair advancing ahead of optimistic projections. 6 months of forbidden research vindicated in minutes of practical application. Behind barrier, 7-year-old miracle sits upright for first time in days. Wonder replaces pain in violet eyes that reflect emergency lighting like captured nebulae. Small voice carries across intercom with strength that seemed impossible moments earlier. Thank you. 2 words in musical tones that carry weight of 17 million infected Jamari awaiting similar salvation. 2 words that justify 50 years of galactic reputation. 2 words that transform monsters into something galaxy desperately needs but rarely deserves. Through observation deck viewports, distant points of light mark Earth fleet positions in silent orbit. Ships that once carried nuclear fire to rebellious worlds now stand guard over medical stations. Weapons designed for conquest repurposed for protection. Humanity remembers what it means to save instead of destroy. This is why we tell these stories. Not to entertain, but to remind us what's at stake when no one stands up. If you wouldn't want to live in a galaxy that lets children die, then prove it. Subscribe. If you won't, at least have the courage to comment why. 72 hours pass like held breath, finally released. Sierra sleeps peacefully behind observation windows, crystalline features radiating health that seemed mythical days earlier. Bio-readings maintain steady rhythms, cellular regeneration proceeding ahead of optimistic projections. Medical miracle documented across 17 different monitoring systems, proof that human innovation serves more than destruction. Dr. Huang reviews treatment protocols with scientific precision, masking deeper satisfaction. Nanite integration complete. Cellular repair mechanisms functioning independently. Patient exhibits full neurological recovery with enhanced immunity markers. Translation: the child lives. Hope wins. Galaxy's monsters prove they were healers all along. 17 million infected across Jamari space. Lieutenant Nakamura reports, cybernetic arm interfacing with long-range communication arrays. Colony ships requesting immediate assistance. Refugee convoys forming evacuation fleet. All looking toward Earth for salvation. Mathematical impossibility becomes logistical challenge. 17 million lives requiring treatment that exists in single medical case. Scale that would overwhelm traditional production capabilities. Demand resources no single world could provide. Unless that world was Earth. Geneva facilities can manufacture nanite suspensions at industrial scale, Commander Voss announces, scarred features carrying weight of transformed purpose. Biomimetic technology adapts to any crystalline physiology. Treatment protocols established, distribution networks ready for deployment. From galactic enforcers to independent protectors in single declaration. Attack dogs become rescue fleet, weapons platforms become medical transports, conquest machinery repurposed for salvation. Ambassador Drex speaks with silicon certainty cracking under pressure. Council will impose economic sanctions, trade restrictions, diplomatic isolation. Let them. Voss shrugs with indifference that carries weight of liberation. Earth trades with anyone needing help. Protects world's council abandons. Saves species bureaucracy condemns to extinction. Political earthquake spreads beyond human space. Communication networks carrying news to distant systems where other species watch with growing attention. Worlds that trusted council protection discovering alternative exists. Protection without bureaucracy, salvation without authorization, hope without political calculation. Behind observation windows, small miracle stirs in peaceful sleep. 7 years old, symbol of everything possible when compassion defies politics. Living proof that Galaxy's reputation for cruelty isn't permanent condition but choice made daily by civilizations too comfortable with apathy. Sierra represents transformation, not just personal recovery but species-wide awakening. What happens when monsters remember how to save instead of destroy? What becomes possible when enforcers become guardians, when weapons become tools of healing? Other worlds are watching, Healer Kethka whispers, avian features carrying wonder typically reserved for religious experience. Kepler 438b requesting medical assistance for plague outbreak. Wolf 359 colony asking protection from corporate exploitation. Ross 128 system wants independence from council jurisdiction. Galaxy shifts on its axis. Power structures built over centuries face challenge they never anticipated. Alternative based on principle rather than profit, protection without political strings, salvation offered freely to any world needing help. Through viewport, Earth fleet maintains positions with purpose transformed. Same ships that once carried nuclear fire now stand ready to deliver medical supplies, provide escort for refugee convoys, defend worlds council considers strategically insignificant. Humanity's reputation rewritten in single act of defiance. Monsters become conscience Galaxy never knew it needed. Sierra opens violet eyes, clarity replacing pain that once clouded massive orbs. Small smile crosses crystalline features as she looks toward humans who risked everything to save stranger from distant star. Universal language of gratitude transcending species barriers, politics, protocol. Living symbol of what's possible when someone chooses to stand up. 17 million lives. One act of defiance. If that doesn't earn your subscription, maybe this isn't the channel for you. Or maybe you've grown too comfortable in a world that rewards silence. Either way, drop your reason in the comments.